Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 5 shot in Christian and Manchester on Boxing Day. MOU signed to further fight against human trafficking. And later in sports, slew of matches slated for this afternoon in the Jamaica Premier League. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. The Manchester police are on the hunt for 2 men who carried out a shooting incident last night in the parish. It's understood patrons were at a party when armed men rode up and carried out the attack. Shane Burke reports.
What was to be a night of fun among residents of Job's Lane in Christiana, Manchester turned sour within minutes. It's understood that at about 11:30, the residents were at a party when men drove up on a motorcycle and fired several shots, hitting 5 people. Among those injured is a firefighter who was hit several times in the upper body. 3 other individuals were shot in their groin, while a vendor was shot in the foot. Political representatives in the area are livid about the crime situation in the country. Valentin Wint of the People's National Party says such acts, especially during this time of the year, should be condemned.
This brazen, unsolicited act of savagery, we certainly abhor this, and we really should stand strongly against this. This is not setting the precedent we want to see moving into 2024. We want the citizens here to recognize that we must look closely around us, ensure we have no strangers coming here to wreak havoc.
He's therefore calling for a stronger police presence, especially in that space.
If these criminals really had the intention to really cause havoc here, so they could rob our vendors of, the opportunity of earning a living. Because Christmas wasn't very hot at all. The Grand Marquis wasn't as we're accustomed to. So here's another opportunity for the vendors to sell their wares and what they had to sell. So we're really saddened because this is an act that comes strongly against commerce.
Shane Burke, TVJ News.
The University of the West Indies, UWI, and the Consular Corps have signed a memorandum of understanding to fight human trafficking. The partnership will help to spread awareness about human trafficking as well as train stakeholders on how to spot and report on the illicit practice. Vice Chancellor of the UWI, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, reasoned modern-day human trafficking has roots in enslavement in the Caribbean. He said this MOU will therefore allow the university to continue fighting inequalities in the society.
Even with the abolition of the slave trade in the 19th century, a critical element of that trade went underground. And we've had an underground trafficking in humans since we have uprooted slave trading from the world. It continues in subtle and informed ways. And we are particularly concerned about it because the primary victims of this traffic are among the most vulnerable people in the societies of the world.
State Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, in the meantime, revealed that the state has made significant strides in the last 2 years in combating human trafficking, including saving dozens of lives.
We rescued over 125 victims of trafficking, establishment of the National Rapporteur Against Trafficking in Persons, and this is of course an independent oversight body, and I want to emphasize that Jamaica is the first Caribbean country to establish a Trafficking in Person Rapporteur and an office.
The search continues for the 7 men who escaped from the Orokabesa police lockup in St. Mary on Wednesday, December 20. The detainees have been charged with various crimes, including murder, rape, and robbery. They were reported missing following a check about 6 o'clock last Thursday. It's still not clear how the men escaped the facility. Now they have been identified as Gavin Hurd, Philip Williams, and LaShawn Davidson. The others are Linton Bailey, Nolando Atkinson, Jamala Fernan, and Trey Walker. President of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, St. Patrice Ennis, says he has received a commitment from Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke for the elimination of fixed-term contracts in the public service. Mr. Ennis says he accepts that it is a work in progress and that the JCTU's call for a policy position to end the practice will require discussions by Cabinet. He says the matter was raised last week during a meeting with Dr. Clarke to resolve outstanding matters under the public sector restructuring scheme.
There wasn't a response to that per se, but what we have gleaned so far from the minister is that I think he buys into the concept that there's an abuse of workers where contract work is being engaged.
Mr. Ennis acknowledged that the government has moved over 10,000 workers to permanent employment, but says that there is a contradiction if contract employment is continuing.
We are striving to have a consistent policy that you're going to eliminate contract work from government where it is not necessary, and we stop engaging people on contract work, and so we don't have this continuous fight to transition people from contract work to regular employment when it wasn't indeed a contract work in the first place. So that is part of the problem that we are having.
Trade unions have been agitating for an end to contractual arrangements, asserting that the continued use restricts the earning power of employees. And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The National Water Commission, NWC, is pushing ahead to extend its national non-revenue water program across the island. Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, gave an update during the commissioning of our new water system for Lime Bottom in St. Ann recently. He explained that the program seeks to make water distribution across the island more efficient.
Takes out leaky pipes, it remeters homes where you may have inaccurate metering. It also puts in pressure monitors so that you stabilize the pressure and keep regularized pressure so you don't burst the pipes as often. It also ensures that we digitize the network. So we'll be doing that nationally. Now, that cut leaks in Kingston and St. Andrew by half. It cut energy usage in Portmore by 40%.
It's understood that those achievements in Kingston and Portmore saved the NWC millions, resulting in a financial surplus for the year. The island-wide non-revenue water program, which is now out for tender, is expected to be completed within the next 10 years. As the political scene reheats up ahead of the local government elections, which is due by the end of February next year, the People's National Party, PNP, says it is ready for when the Prime Minister makes the call. St. Mary Central MP Dr. Maurice Guy is adamant that the municipal corporation in that parish will be controlled by PNP councillors.
We have our organization on the ground. It is oiled, it is ready. It is waiting on the date that the government is going to announce this. We are confident that St. Mary, that the People's National Party will get back the leadership of the St. Mary Municipal Corporation, because we have had our council candidates who are working, who are representing the party, have been working very hard on the ground, and they have been getting the support of the people of St. Mary.
And it's now time for the Business Minute.
The Dominican Republic, for the first time, recorded 10 million visitors to the country. Tourism Minister David Collado made the announcement via his social media channels. Celebrating the achievement, Mr. Collado shared the 10 million new friends of the Dominican Republic have already turned the corner. The country is set to commemorate the accomplishment with festivities at various locations, including airports in Punta Cana, Isla Santiago, and cruise terminals. The tourism minister says the record-breaking number of tourists reflects the growing appeal of the Dominican Republic as a premier global destination. Further afield, German container shipper Hapag-Lloyd says it still considers the situation too dangerous to pass through the Suez Canal. It says it would continue to reroute its vessels via the Cape of Good Hope. The decision comes following weeks of attacks by Houthi rebels along the Red Sea. However, Danish shipping giant Maersk says it is preparing to resume shipping operations through the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. The move follows the deployment of an international military operation to prevent attacks on commercial ships by Yemen's rebels. The Red Sea is one of the world's most important routes for oil and liquefied natural gas shipments as well as for consumer goods. It is bookended by the Bab al-Mandab Strait, also known as the Gate of Tears in the south near the coast of Yemen, and the Suez Canal in the north. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Halshane Burke.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In this evening's health report, we look at weight loss options.
Sometimes the patients may get bloating, abdominal distension, their stomach doesn't empty well. There's also the one that sometimes patients stop losing weight on these medications. So the dosage varies, and patients may be on a certain dose and they may lose 10, 20 pounds, and they may find that their weight loss stops and they have to increase the dose and keep going.
That's a health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Eat varied, colorful, nutritional dense foods. Eliminate liquid calories. Measure servings and control portions. Seek social support and stay positive.
Time now for the top regional.
Speak with him. Authorities rescued the man from the truck, taking him to hospital with serious and life-threatening injuries. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Jamila Maitland for TJ News.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Spencer Darlington will have your midday sports report.